We are currently looking forward to releasing a demo version of this game in February. So, 6 months ago, I uploaded a video about the last time that I dropped a video, which was 10 months ago. Now, is this wet spaghetti? Yes. Does that make me inconsistent to my video uploads? Yes. But one thing I'll definitely take credit for is being consistent as being inconsistent. Like, see what I did there?
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit.
Now, I know I mentioned in the last video that I'll drop an update sooner, which clearly never came, but there's a reason which you may find interesting. First off, I have disappointing and appointing news. Get it? Because appointing is the opposite of disappointing. I think I'll see myself out now. Anyways, let's just get into the video. Today, I want to talk about where the project is currently at, what has changed since the last devlog, and some other cool things I've been working on which I want to share with you guys. Also, you'll notice I keep calling it the project or the card game. That is intentional, because in the episode I'll be dropping next week, we'll be finally addressing the identity crisis of the game. The game has a name now, an actual name. And I'm not saying it in this episode because I need content for next week and I am trying to be consistent with my uploads. But just know, some of the names we almost picked were outright illegal. So first things first, where is the project currently at and what has been achieved so far since my last upload? In the last video, I talked about adding a story mode, customization, and getting stylers to help me with the project.
In me power.
And since then, a couple of things have changed. Actually, let me not say a couple, because that sounds like I'm about to show you two buttons and a loading screen. There has been progress. Painful progress, but progress nonetheless. One of the biggest changes is that we have moved from Pan 2 to Fusion for the online mode. Now if this sounds confusing, just bear with me. It's basically what manages the online mode for the game. And one of the reasons for that move was because Fusion gives us a much more graceful number of CCU, which is basically their concurrent users, for free. And when you're an indie dev, free is not just a prize, free is a love language. So yes, that migration was a pretty big technical change for the multiplayer side of things, and it should put us in a much better place moving forward. We also have a new menu screen. The old one did its job, but this new one feels a lot more closer to the kind of identity we want a game to have. And yes, I said identity, because a game finally has one now. Name, direction, vibe, all that. But again, we'll talk about this next week. Because the journey to get there was not normal. At some point, we were just throwing names around like we were just trying to lose the project on purpose. We've also added new UI screens, including a stats panel that shows up when you are done with the game. So instead of the game just ending and everyone awkwardly staring at the screen like, okay, so what's now? You actually get some cool feedback on how the match went. There have also been some other UI improvements. Even the reaction UI is different from what I showcased in the last video, and it's getting better. It still has a lot of room to improve, but compared to where it started, it feels way more polished now. We also added a new waiting screen. This is the part where players can wait for matches while trying to get into a game. Then we move on to the one thing that has caused me so much pain, the versus screen. This screen took way more effort than I expected. And I know that sounds dramatic, because it's just a screen that shows players before a match starts, but somehow this thing decided it wanted to become a whole boss fight for me. We had to think about how it would look for single opponents and how it would work for multiple opponents, how the layout should feel, how much information to show, and how stylish it should be, as well as making things readable and making it feel exciting without turning the screen into a visual soup. Styler and I went over multiple iterations of this screen until we finally settled on this.
Nice.
Some versions were okay. Some versions were, let's say, character building. But I'm actually happy with where it landed. It gives the match that little bit of tension before everything starts and makes the game feel a bit more alive. We've also been adding more to the game feel, because one thing I'm realizing more and more is that a game can technically work, but if it doesn't feel good, players will notice. So we've added things like a dramatic camera and slow motion effects to make certain moments feel more impactful. We've also added screen shake effects to add some more game juice. Not too much screen shake though, because I don't want players to feel like they are fighting with their screens, but just enough to make certain actions feel better. We also added coin attraction effects, so when coins move towards the player or towards the UI, they don't just teleport and appear. They actually get pulled in, which makes the whole thing feel a bit more satisfying. Now, if it feels like much hasn't been achieved, that's because much hasn't been achieved. At least not as much as I would have liked, and the whole reason for that is mainly due to work. Work has gotten intensive these past few months, so we are sometimes limited to only working on these projects on Saturdays and Sundays. And that's when we are lucky. Sometimes a weekend comes and you think, yeah, I'm going to make so much progress. Then your body says, that's cute, and suddenly you wake up on Monday. So progress has been slower than I wanted, but the project is still very much alive. That being said, I think it will be good if I show you what has actually been eating our time. And yes, that includes Tyler's time as well. And that project is Puzzle Scout. Puzzle Scout is an upcoming game we are developing over at Let's Arts alongside the release of Kamza, that's Let's first PC release. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Puzzle Scout is a project that I genuinely enjoy working on so much, and we are trying to be ambitious with the second release of this game. This version takes place in a big fantasy Africa, in a world where people have abandoned their roots and stories. And through the game, we are trying to make education fun and casual. Everyone working on the project is pouring so much love into it. There is art, writing, design, gameplay, and all these small details coming together. And it has really been exciting to see it grow. We can't wait to have this out there. But with all that being said, that doesn't mean our card game is getting ignored. It's not dead, it's not abandoned. It's not lying somewhere in a folder called Final 1, Final 2, or Final 3. We are actively working on it, and it's really shaping up to be greater than we expected. The more features we add, the more we understand what the game actually wants to be. We are still working on making the core gameplay better, improving the multiplayer flow, adding more polish, and making sure the story is fun to play through. Because adding story mode just to say we've added story mode is not a goal. We want it to feel like a real part of the game. Something that gives the world more personality and gives players a reason to care about what they are doing beyond just winning matches. And like I said earlier, this might be the last devlog where I keep calling it a card game, because next week we will finally talk about the name. And yes, the game has an actual name now, and the road to getting there was quite stupid. We went through names that were okay, names that sounded kind of cool, and names that actually shouldn't ever leave the group chat. So next week's video is basically going to be me exposing our naming process and finally revealing the name that we actually went for. If you want to see that disaster, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it. And please don't forget to like the video, that's if you enjoyed the video so far. We're also planning on releasing a test build to our Discord community soon. So if you're interested in joining in to see what we are up to, or gaming with us, because we play all sorts of games in our server, feel free to join us using the link in the description. And honestly, any feedback at this stage will be super helpful, because when you work on a game for a long time, you start getting used to weird things. You will see a bug and go, yeah, that's how it should behave. But no, that's not how it should behave. And sometimes you are just tired. So having other people play it, break it, react to it, and tell us what feels good or bad will help us a lot. That's pretty much where things are right now. Progress has been much slower than planned, but the game is still moving. The UI is getting better, the multiplayer is also improving, and the game feel is getting juicier. The versus screen almost took me out, but we survived. And on top of that, Puzzle Scout has been taking a lot of our time, but in a really exciting way. So yeah, I disappeared again, but I promise things are happening. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps out. And hey, let me know what you would like to see in the game down in the comment section below. More customization, more story stuff, more reactions, more chaos. I'm probably going to regret asking for more chaos, but yeah, do feel free to put it in the comment section anyway. Alright, back to work and catch you in the next one.